Hey friends, today we're going to talk about life skills and how I'm incorporating that into homeschool and just some fun crafts to do with my kids and with other friends as well. Welcome to the Holistic Lifestyle Podcast, where I help busy Christian moms create schedules that eliminate stress, ditch toxins, and experience God-given freedom of peace. So there's a lot of basic life skills that we're actually not taught, whether it's in typical public school or just, I don't know, even sometimes parents won't teach it, and it's kind of like you get older and go off and don't know how to pay a bill or something, for example. So some of these are more primitive, and some of these are very timely in our high-tech society for now. But either way, these are things that I want to incorporate into homeschooling. I want to incorporate just to teach my kids regardless, to see if there's anything I need to learn. I want to teach myself some of these things. It can be fun date night or date day activities, or just family fun day activities as well that I want to do also with some friends, and just, learning. I tend to enjoy learning new things, and I think as I started to realize that learning didn't have to be the way that it was in public school, I actually grew a passion for learning, because I didn't really like to learn that much. I liked, reading and art. That's pretty much it growing up in school. And so as I've gotten older and learned, that there's different ways to learn things, like self-teaching, so we can teach ourselves and learn from other people in a way that fits us and how we learn best. And we can pick what we want to learn about and really look at what's a necessity and base that also off of our interests and our goals. And yeah, it's kind of just developed this really big passion I have for learning now. So I'm going to go through, I tried to kind of separate these in a way into similar categories, but ultimately I enjoy watching and also doing to learn something. And I don't do well with just either or. I like to watch it and then I have to do it and then, be corrected. I think this can be great family fun time. And like I said, dates and gathering kind of activities as well. So I'm going to go ahead and go through this list. So I have fishing, hunting, bow and arrow, tracking, plant identification. So this has been something that fishing, I've gone some growing up, but I definitely would like to do more. Hunting, I have not done it all before and would love to do that. I hear it's actually more of a slow process, so it will probably test my patience, but that could be a good thing as well. I also can struggle with just, the gore of such. So that can kind of be a struggle. And also I think it's fine as long as it's for a purpose. So I don't want to hunt something and not be eating it or somebody else eating it. And honestly, I don't eat much pork or you don't really hunt cows. I was going to say steak. I don't really eat fish. I'm not a seafood person. I don't eat deer, rabbit, bird. Well, I eat chicken. So maybe I'd try quail, but that seems really hard to do. So I don't know. That's something that I would have to definitely incorporate, okay, somebody else is going to have to take this home and eat it. But I do think it's a really good life skill to have, as well as just tracking animals. I find that to be quite fascinating, and different forms of hunting, like bow and arrow, or just target practice. Shooting would be another one. I really enjoy target practice with shooting. So I think bow and arrow would be really fun. And that's something my husband and I have been saving up for just like a fun activity to do on our property and to teach our kids to and stuff like that. Of course, as they get older, there are some like kid foam ones though that we are kind of looking into, at least for our older son. And by older, I mean he's 4, but so we'll see, maybe closer to 6. Plant identification. As I'm gardening, I'm learning what is a weed, what is the plant that I'm growing, what does it look like as it comes up, as it blossoms, as it seeds. I'm also learning, okay, this is a weed, but just because it's not something I planted, is it still beneficial? And looking into that. I really find it interesting to look into like edible mushrooms as well. Now, not like psychedelics or anything like that, just, like your portobello or reishi or anything like that could be used for just good whole rounded nutrients. I've looked into like you can grow them on a log, and I think that would be a really cool homeschool project. Moving on, we have kind of more like in the home cooking, like what do you do with this food afterwards? So we have cooking from scratch, gardening, preserving, and there's like preserving as far as we could do freezing, dehydrating, canning with a water bath canner or canning with a pressure canner, fermenting like sauerkraut and water kefir and sourdough type of stuff. So I've learned a lot of this even before starting on our homestead. When we were in apartments, this was kind of where I entered into homestead and just kind of learning how to cook from scratch, really. And so this is just a basic, really good life skill to have. I'm very fascinated by how people also lived without refrigerators beforehand and freezers. So I think that would be really cool, especially to have some sort of like root cellar. I'm kind of looking into maybe how I could like transform a greenhouse into that. So that is something very interesting to me. Another area would be things like taking care of animals, learning how to feed them and walk them and build a home for them and pick up after them and take care of them when they're injured, first aid for people and animals, learning what things we can do naturally to take care of ourselves. We don't have to just run and ask for help. There's a lot of things we can learn, and especially if help can't get there in time, it's nice to know some things on our own. And that's why I've gotten really into like homeopathic medicine and essential oils and just really trying to learn for myself how to take care of myself and to not just take a pill because that's just covering it and not really giving a solution, because it's going to give another problem and the root cause is still there. Now past that rant, another area would be swimming. That is such a great life skill to learn. I think my dad actually doesn't know how to swim, I believe. I know he's gone in the pool with me some, but I just know there's a lot of people that, didn't really learn to swim. And so this is something that I think would be really important to teach my kids, to get better at myself. There's certain situations that we may need to swim, and I would like us to be prepared for that. Camping is a great fun family activity, and you can learn how to build a campfire just from the materials you have outside. I remember doing that for camp one time, and it was so much fun. And just learning how to cook over a campfire is a whole different situation too. Then I'm going to move into kind of things like mowing and yard work, weed whacking, carpentry, plumbing, handyman tasks, learning how to take care of stuff around the house. That's just been something as owning a house we've been getting into more and more. And also things like paying bills and budgeting and, communicating well with people. Learning how to process what we are feeling, address what we're feeling, and communicating that with people and not acting on our feelings, feeling the feeling but not acting out of it, pausing to reflect and then acting instead of just reacting. And that is such a great life skill in so many areas. Bible study, just being able to teach kids like, hey, you have a question, you're struggling with faith. Okay, we have a resource to where we actually can, like, in Bible apps, type in faith and see all the times it's mentioned in scripture. And so that is a really cool resource that I have used to be able to look up things I'm struggling with, whether it's faith or patience or like parenting, look for the word like roles for like a husband and a wife, like things like these have been super helpful to be able to look up. So ultimately, these are some things that we have been implementing kind of in our homeschool, part of just life, really life skills, and could really be some fun activities for us and for others to learn and enjoy learning. A lot of things also, I'll say, like, I make my own lotion. I've actually been making lotion and toothpaste today. Learning how to do that stuff from scratch too is really cool. Just learning how it all works and being able to make it healthier and put in it what you want in it. And it can actually save you $1. Cooking from scratch saves you $1. Gardening, hunting, all these things will definitely. Having your own shooting range or bow and arrow, target, darts, anything like that to practice that skill. And, there's so many different ones that you guys could look into. Like if you're more into like reading or tech, there's so many different things that can be, or like even tying knots, that can be like a fun activity during camping. So these are just some ideas that I had and I thought I would share with you guys. My prayer for y'all is to start adopting this mindset shift. And if you need more help with that, I'm here for you. I want you to have a more biblical mindset instead of a worldly mindset. And in the Homemaker Mentor Program, I'll help shed a light on what mindset shifts you need to make in order to live the life that you want to live. I'll help you create the routines, rhythms, and healthy habits that will support you to take your frustrations and put them in the past. Get clear on what's really important to you and how to intentionally work towards those goals in life, as well as additional resources like a go-to resource list for your homemaking journey, routine templates, a home management binder, community, one-on-one and group support, a deep dive into unique trainings like my flexible time blocking method and my biblical mindset coaching model, workbooks on topics like goal setting, reflecting, boundaries, and expectations. I'll give you accountability and I'll teach you how to hold yourself accountable while having fun along the way and celebrating your progress. I'll give you Voxer chat access while you're in your day-to-day life implementing these healthy habits, plus so much more. If you have any interest in this, go ahead and check out the link in the description to join the Homemaker Mentor Program, which is a program in the Holistic Life Academy. Head on over to Apple Podcast if you aren't there already and leave a rating and review on how you're liking the podcast to help me reach more moms so we can all live stress-free. P.S. If you're a working mama, share what you do for work to get featured on the Holistic Lifestyle Podcast. Looking forward to chatting with you next Tuesday. Have a blessed week.